With a bright future ahead of the Fisher Studios Truck Series, the Stock Car Racing League welcomes you to the first race of the playoffs. And as we look forward, we're going to throw it back with the Throwback 150, and 3 minutes and 30 seconds remain on the qualifying timing sheets as one man is taken to the top, and that would be the number 8 of Aaron Brown. Brown makes it down to the line, this time through one of your guys in the championship battle. He's the 14th man in the 16 driver playoff hunt. It's going to be Aaron Brown, then Carter Casey in second, and Kenny Reel in third as Reel makes his second start. And this time by, he's got a team recruited by the B3 Designs Group to make his way into the force of car number 4, more like truck number 4 in this league for Brian Russo and his operation. Kenny Reel that time by, he's going to be 4th on the board, only 4 drivers with a time lap, and we are just getting started. Great to have y'all aboard as we get this one going. I'm your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, and we're going to look forward to a great week of action live on FTN. Tonight, though, we're looking to one great race in its own right, the Saturday Night Showdown with the trucks. Always exciting. 110 laps tonight. It's going to be all about consistency as Alec Daffin, like he did in the season opener, becomes the man on the top spot of the board in the playoff opener. Provisional pole to Alec Daffin in the number 48. And right now, he's up on top by 59 thousandths of a second. Matthew Weeks going to be on his way in the numbered 11 machine, making his way down through the circuit and Darlington Raceway, known for its egg-shaped track. These turns are different, 1 and 2 from 3 and 4. You've got to be on your toes all night long and adapt to the changes in mind. Let's take a lap on board with the man. The number 11 machine comes in to the championship battle as seed number 8 out of 16. He's got to make his way into the final 4 with force. Gets to the wall just a bit, though. Going to be a bit troublesome for him to get the power back on, but he's good to go. Up high, you have to stay at Darlington. Only a very few select lanes are at the proper banking for the maximum speed. Off the exit of turn number 4, this time by through the Geico restart zone. Matthew Weeks takes it up to position number, it looks like 8, but that lap will not be validated due to the incident early on. A bit flatter on the throttle through turns 1 and 2. No incident that time by. However, he does get close to that wall, and the Darlington stripe might come back to bite these drivers. We'll see who gets his first hit here tonight. It could be a stripe for some championship contenders. Whether or not that'll be the case, we'll find out down the line this time by. Matthew Weeks makes it so. His final qualifying lap with a time on it will put him all the way up into 8th. And Kyle Jackson now going to be on his way. A beautiful X-side throwback back to the days of Jeff Burton in this NASCAR Cup Series. Of course, the Cup Series going to North Wilkesboro. Throwback track in its own right tomorrow for the All-Star race. But tonight, the trucks get to throw it back in Darlington. Now, Darlington Raceway, until North Wilkesboro arrived, was the quintessential throwback rewind race weekend of the season, but now with Wilkes County back, that might change in the virtual world as well as the real world. However, the Boeing backstretch occupied by the 96, he's going to come down with as much speed as he can, but I don't believe that Kyle Jackson will finish his qualifying lap as off of corner number 4, it's going to be a 2-second drag race, and at the line, Jackson barely makes it, and he will be good to go with a time that gets him in at the 9th position. Great job for Jackson there, but it's Alec Daffin with your man on provisional pole being the number 48, and as warm-up begins, we'll get you your starting grid for tonight's event. Carter Casey going to be back on his way. He got a win at Talladega. It's exactly what he needed, and now he finds himself up there in the championship order. He's the 9th man coming into this one out of 16. He's currently, as it stands, just about 28 back on the top 4 bubble. It's pretty close up in front, and the number 1 still has a chance. So does, of course, just about any of your 16 men still going at it. And right now, we've got quite a few on the track. The number 1 stays on pit road as he will look to get a few more laps in. The man on position number 1, well, let's take a closer look. Without further ado, this is your starting grid for the Throwback 150 in the Stock Car Racing League Fisher Studios Truck Series. Top man the board, as he was at Daytona. It's not Alec Daffin at the last second. Dylan Basin takes it, and Basin finds him himself placed in position number 1 with a 29.441. Alec Daffin usurped at the last second. Daffin goes to the outside of row number 1 with a 29.516 in his Chevy Silverado. Next up, going to be the 99 and the 1, Vinny Tigner, 29.573 for the man in third, and then Carter Casey, fourth spot. He's going to be there with a 29.576, and Nicholas Pressey returns after a long absence. The 94 comes back with style. Fifth spot on the order for the man in the number 94, 29.594, with Aaron Brown, one of the men to keep an eye out for in the championship battle. He is sixth, and the 8 goes there with a 29.605. Inside row number 4, going to be a rookie in Blake Witkowski, and the number 23 is paired up with Matthew Weeks, one of your championship contenders in his own right. 8th spot for the number 11. It's going to be a 29.743 for Weeks and a 29.67 for Blake Witkowski. Kyle Jackson going to be there as well. He's in the 9th position with a 29.87, rounding out your top 10 with a 30.462. It's going to be Michael Deitch in the 44, looking to get a bit more out of the truck. Still a top 10 start as the final man with a time lap is the number 17 of Kenny Reel. This is his second race of the season, coming after a great first impression at Talladega. Next up on the order, it is the returning 97 of Rick Spencer-Walt. Great to have him back in that 97 machine, with Sam Benson returning as well in 13th, and then Chris Tripp in position number 14. These final few positions are calculated on iRating, so Spencer-Walt has to jump over the rest of these guys. It's going to be Chris Tripp 14th, as we mentioned. Inside row number 8 in the top 15 on debut, it's going to be Terry Khan in the 099, and next to him, your final man in the playoff battle, and Jordan Parker, 16th spot on the board in the standings for qualifying, and in the standings overall, the last man on the grid going to be 17th in Max Wiesner, and that will round out your starting grid for tonight's event in the Throwback 150, as Carter Casey comes right back down to pit road. We've still got about a minute or two here in your second practice. Nicky Hicks Jr., Fisher Studios in the chat as well. Have a, of course, great show coming up for both of y'all. Great to have you here. And Parker, Jordan Parker that is, with a lot of fan support, as he is now one of the starting sponsors for the rest of the season, starting it off with a brand new name for this league, the Fisher Studios Truck Series, and of course part of the Stock Car Racing League banner. It's the first of many to come, and we're glad that Fisher Studios is on board for the remainder of this championship battle, and hopefully many seasons to come. How about that number 65 machine? As we mentioned him, you saw him back on the track. That's Jordan Parker in the number 65. Consistency was key for the man in that number 65 machine, finding himself inside the top 10 with 3 races in a row, making him one of the final men in the championship battle. 16th and last seed, following the withdrawal of Cody Webster's championship spot, and now the 65 gets a chance to dig deep and go for gold here in the remainder of the season. Very little less. We'll have an off week next time we go at it. It's going to be in 2 weeks time, but until then, we got one more incredible show coming right your way. It's Jordan Parker, the man in the 8th spot right now, and Dylan Basin looking for his first win in this series. He's right now first with 20 seconds remaining. Carter Casey second, and Nicholas Pressey been on a roll with the Kyle Petty throwback in that 94, a beautiful Hot Wheels scheme, and he's been running it hot, very hot. He's up to third right now, only about a 10th of a second off your top man here in second practice, and that top man, it's Dylan Basin in the number 009, and he is looking quite fine in a Jimmy Johnson throwback. He's up front like Jimmy's been time and time again in the NASCAR Cup Series, and as a matter of fact, the Truck Series is the only national division that Jimmy Johnson has not gotten a victory in. He ran one race in 2008. He ran as the number 81 machine and was not able to muster up a victory there. But Dylan Basin with the Lowe's MVP machine is looking to be the MVP of the night. You see him there on your screen. He's already geared up, and he is as excited as ever to get this field on its way. Max the Cool 456, that's going to be Max Wiesner in the chat, and it's going to be the number Well, on the chat room board, 456, it's the number 51, looking for redemption after a Talladega race gone south. Tonight's going to be a big thing down in the south as Darlington, South Carolina is packed in the virtual stands, and we hope you enjoy tonight's presentation. Hype is back here in the Stock Car Racing League. Things have turned over, and with the backing of Fisher Studios and some of the best in the business, such as Brian Russo, your amazing thumbnail designer for this league, and of course, us live on FTN, we're going to bring you the final few races where the championship battle begins, and it all starts here in the ancient battleground. It's the Lady in Black, and the iRacing official pace car is due to grab a gear as soon as Terry Khan joins the session. And right now, Alec Daffin, he's one of the best men of the season all year long. He comes into this one 5th seed, and right now, guys like Lane Graves and Michael Rosero are not on the grid. He's due to jump up a few spots because the points have gotten bunched up all over again. Right now, it's the Alec Daffin machine about 12 points off the cut line. The only man who is locked into the Final Four is Jordan Kuntz. He's 101 points above the Final Four cutoff. That is several races of a jump over everyone else, as Dylan Basin gets the jump, and we are underway for your one and only pace lap before the race gets underway. And with Dylan Basin now on the move, tonight is going to be one of the shorter races of the season. We've been on a stretch, I believe, of 3 or 4 consecutive races of over 200 miles of action. Of course, culminating in the Brian Russo B3 Designs 250 that we saw last weekend. Tonight, we're going to take it back by about 50 miles or so and let the driving tell the story, not the mileage. Even though it's going to be a shorter race, Darlington, it's quite the tricky track. There's nothing else like it, and because of that, we're going to see some guys slip and slide all night long, and we might see a bit more of a hectic race than what we're used to. We've seen many races this season go caution-free. Tonight, a guy like Dylan Basin might want that. The rookie looks to be one of the fastest of this season. Whenever we see him, he's got the raw pace to prove what he's got in store. And tonight, he's looking for that much more. Victory number 1 on the line for him. Alec Daffin fighting in the championship battle, as is the rest of your playoff drivers. Let's kick off the playoffs in style here in the Fisher Studios Truck Series. It's the Throwback 150 in Darlington, and we're underway in the Lady in Black. And with lap number 1 out of the picture, Dylan Basin leads the way over Alec Daffin with Vinny Taylor 3rd. It's going to be Carter Casey 4th, and then Nicholas Pressey 5th, with Aaron Brown now getting into that 5th spot. And a bit of a jumble after the start of this race. Blake Witkowski stays strong in 6th as one man goes down to the inside of the line. That's going to be Kenny Reel, and he's going to buy this time as Darlington going to snap him back just a bit. That number 17 machine in the Good Sam paint scheme looking to get himself a good rep when it comes to racing in this league. Only his 2nd start, and he's currently running just outside the top 10. He's got a lot more in store, and right now he's looking for just that as Rick Spencer Walt climbs up into 12th. Spencer Walt's highlight in his part-time run this season was his incredible battle back on strategy in Atlanta. Got major damage early and mustered a top 15 finish despite some major hits to that front end. He is always a meticulous driver, and it works out his advantage whenever he has an opportunity to show that. And when his talent comes out, we're sure to see a great run out of that 97, no matter what track it is. Right now, he finds himself in 12th, and the last man on the field is going to be Max Wiesner in the 16th position. Wiesner fading back with a bit of damage on that Sundrop 95. Now the 51 machine, my apologies there, and it's a Sundrop throwback with a bit of a different look. That's a different sponsor. As we try to get a read on it, the number 51 has a bit of damage on that right side. He's in trouble right now, and so is Jordan Parker. Parker off the pace by about a 1.5 seconds. As we look up front, Dylan Basin, he has not slipped not once, and right now leads by 0.4 of a second, with Blake Witkowski now falling back just a bit. Looking at the field, rookie drivers in a bit of trouble very early, and that goes to show you when these guys get in a bit of trouble, the new ones in the field tend to be those that struggle just a bit more. You gotta bide your time here at Darlington, and Dylan Basin, the veteran of iRacing, even though he's not a veteran in this league, is showing that he knows exactly how to manage one of NASCAR's trickiest tracks. So far, it has gone all clean, all green. 6 laps through, Alec Daffin fades back further and further from memory as Carter Casey is right now in front of a hard-fought battle between Vinny Tigner and Aaron Brown. Side by side they go. Aaron Brown goes now to the inside line and now has position number 4. It's going to be all about tossing and turning positions throughout the night as the 8 machine gets it right and now has himself just outside the podium. Vinny Tigner's at 5th right now, and we can see that Matthew Weeks now goes down to the inside line as the playoff drivers begin to battle with one another. It's going to get that much more intense as Matthew Weeks needs every point he can possibly get. 25 points off of the final 4 cut line. A few drivers not here who are in the championship mix, such as Lane Graves, Michael Rosero, and even guys like Luke Peters. But these guys who are just a bit further back, no, they don't have only a set of drivers to make up points on. They have every driver. Even if some drivers are not here, there's many others that they'll have to compete with race after race. And right now, Alec Daffin, who's outside the championship 4, has the better of all those in the title battle. Matthew Weeks gets by for 6th, and Nicholas Pressey stays in the top 10, hanging on as he gets pressed for another spot. That's Kyle Jackson right there in 8th. Blake Witkowski going to be there with the number 12 of Sam Benson battling for the 9th position right now. It's a 2-car pack, a small one at the moment, but it's good to keep yourself in the going, even if you don't have all too many people right beside you. Blake takes it down to the start-finish line without much of an issue. He does not shake, but Sam Benson tries to make it happen. He gets closer, gets a bit of a run on the high side, and with these runs on the high line, you'll see drivers like Benson close the gap to those they are battling with. And right now, down the Boeing backstretch, we'll see it again. Sam Benson goes low right now, trying to force a mistake, comes just a bit up higher, and then begins to match the line that Witkowski had before, only to manage to hold it down 1 lane lower and use the distance as the advantage through 3 and 4. Different trucks drive differently throughout the turns. Some drivers are better through 1 and 2, and some others are better through the aforementioned turns 3 and 4. Right now, Sam Benson seems to be a bit better at 1 and 2, and that's going to show it. Blake Witkowski getting him down and out just like that. I do believe he just disconnected from the session as soon as he made that hit. That's going to be Witkowski's race just like that. We're going to take a 30-second instant replay live on FTN and find out just what happened. As you can see, Witkowski being pressured hard by that number 12 machine, and I do believe he disconnected the moment he hit that wall. And I think he just caught himself as a lost cause and chose to end it then and there. 1 lap down already, and you can see rides up the track, hits that wall, and as soon as that happens, he's just about disconnected, and from Sam Benson's rear shot, he hits it, and then he's gone. And just like that, Sam Benson gets 9th, so beneficiary for him as the number 12 machine finds himself back in the single digits without much of battle. We'll send it right back live on FTN. Witkowski is out. Max Wiesner comes down pit road, though, and it looks like it's not going to be coming down pit road just yet, but Wiesner way off the pace in that 51. My, oh my, in a lot of trouble right now as he's slowly but surely making it through each and every lap. Your leader coming up, though, on that number 51, going to be your first lap man in only 12 laps of racing. Dylan Basin has now found his first victim of the night. Alec Daffin gonna chase down yet another in his own right, and this could be the pickoff that the 009 needs for perhaps a battle for the lead not to happen. The Wiesner machine lets him right by. Alec Daffin might not get an easy treatment. He gets by though, and side by side they keep it. Alec Daffin gets the better quite easily, and Carter Casey stays up high as the 51 looks to keep on driving till the motor dies. He's down there on the inside of the circuit, but the drivers in front and now behind him are much, much quicker. One man, one lap down. Jordan Parker looks to disconnect. He's down onto pit road. So something just happened on his end as it looks like he parked it. We'll take another 30-second replay on the matter and see what caused it. You can see that number 65. He was going well at least a point in time very recently, but through 1 and 2 we caught out one driver. Blake Witkowski got in a bit of trouble. Let's see if that happened to Jordan Parker. The number 65 goes up to the high line, and that's exactly the case. Goes right down, and a brutal hit for the 65, and no yellow. That's still going to be down and out. The 65 is. Rick Spencer Walt also disconnected now, so many drivers fading as the race of attrition continues to settle in. Now Dylan Basin finds himself ahead of Max Wiesner, who's 1 down, Jordan Parker, who's 2 down, and Blake Witkowski, who's 5 laps down. Rick Spencer Walt finds himself 1 down as well, so we're down to 12 drivers on the lead lap already, and Dylan Basin has taken these guys to school already. The most dominant driver we've seen at Darlington in this league. Max Wiesner going to be due to be put yet another lap down in due time, about a half lap back on your leader as Basin takes it down the Boeing backstretch. Alec Daffin stays in second, and Carter Casey holds on for third. It's Aaron Brown now in fourth, it's Matthew Weeks in fifth, and Vinny Tigner in sixth, with the closest battle on a racing circuit actually being between Tigner and Weeks. Matthew does have a big edge right now as the Max Wiesner machine falls back further on pace, and he has still not come down pit road. Certainly something going on with that 51. More and more damage compounding, and it could be the end of his race. And a resounding cause for caution. We have not gotten it. A few spins, a few big hits, but we're all still going strong as Nicholas Pressey taps the wall and gets a bit of a Darlington stripe in his own. The number 94 machine right now in the 7th position gets it going once again and still tries to chase down the man right in front. Vinny Tigner still going through and going strong. Tigner keeps himself going. And now, the 99 is in position number 6. Matthew Weeks going to be in 5th. It's Aaron Brown in 4th. And Carter Casey sees that Brown's chasing him and getting just a bit closer. Off the rear view camera from the number 1 machine, this is Carter Casey. And he's got Aaron Brown right there on him, almost 20 laps in. And while many drivers have gotten spread out already, it seems like the number 8 machine, slowly but surely, is going to try to reel the number 1 in. Very early in the going, we will be seeing some pit strategy at the rate this race is going, but track position will matter, especially for the first few stops. You want that advantage as a driver going to pit road. If you can get in front of someone else, you might be able to get out in front as well. Do it before, make sure you reap the benefits after, and that's the end goal for the number 8 machine as he comes up the track with the number 1. They'll be side by side the line this time through, and the Advelt Health machine now finds himself in better standing, makes it up to position number 3, and Aaron Brown now is in the podium, gets through with his teammate Alec Daffin in second, about 2 seconds ahead of him. Big switch up there. Max Wiesner comes down to pit road this time by. That looks like it will be all she wrote. If the motor's not blown, it's still going to be big damage regardless. The 51 is in. Alec Daffin is through, and he's still chasing down Dylan Basin, but not to much success. That Basin machine, I'll tell you what, he's been on a roll. He's already gained about 2 seconds over the remainder of the field in 21 laps, and it's shades of Alan Koopman at Darlington earlier this year in the Highline Racing League. It was a 125 lap race there. Not much longer than this one is, but either way, that number 8 machine put on a clinic, led all but 10 laps in a very contentious race with a very competitive field like the one we see here. But that 009 is as geared up as the 8 was then, and the Thursday Night Warrior, his performance translates to Basin, as now that Dylan Basin machine is up over 2 seconds. Alec Daffin tries to reel him in through the corner, but nothing he can do seems to stick for the win. Aaron Brown finds himself in 3rd with Carter Casey in 4th and Matthew Weeks in 5th, with Vinny Tigner holding on in 6th and position 7 being held by Kenny Reel's adversary in the race so far, Nicholas Pressey. Reel was passed by the Pressey machine very early in the going, but now Kenny finds himself in position number 8, just inside the top 10. Good run for him so far as he continues to gain experience in these trucks. He's one of the most diverse drivers when it comes to the things we've seen him in on this channel. He's raced in many leagues on this network, such as the 4 Cup Series, the Integrity Racing League, and now dipping his feet in the Fisher Studios Truck Series. That number 17 keeps it up high and knows what he's got to keep on doing as he continues to put down solid laps right now. only about 0.2 of a second off of your leading drivers, and he's actually faster than everyone outside the top 3. So Kenny is making up time and making it up big. He's got the pace to be up there with the guys in the front of the field. Last time by, your man in third, Aaron Brown, went a 31.303. Kenny Real ran a 31.448, but the man in fourth ran a 31.778. So Kenny Real, he is quicker, and he's beginning to reel in Nicholas Pressey off the corner there. Gets really screwed up, but he's still going. Nice recovery once again for the 94. And Nicholas Pressey with a beautiful throwback, as we mentioned. And Kyle Petty, while his later years were not as successful as his days with Felix Sabates and the Wood brothers, his schemes were just as iconic, be it the Hot Wheels number 44 or the posthumous Adam Petty tribute with the Sprint PCS number 45. Kyle Petty, no stranger to running beautiful paint schemes, and even before this point with Petty Enterprises 2, he ran for the Wood brothers in the number 7 711 machine. What a beautiful car that was. Tonight, though, translated into truck form, the later years of Adam Petty's career, well, we saw them in the 99 and 2000 ARCA series and the Busch series, while his father was still tearing it up pretty good in the Cup series. Adam Petty, of course, made a few starts in the ARCA series, won his first at Charlotte, and was only in a race with his father once. Kyle Petty, as a matter of fact, was a substitute in Adam Petty's lone Cup series race, was not able to qualify for that event, never officially scored, as both of them on the same sheet. Kyle Petty's best season in the Petty Enterprises 2 era was a 15th place points finish in 1999, which came in the era of the Hot Wheels number 44. A beautiful truck it was, and tonight, Nicholas Pressey doing it justice in the 7th position. And looking further up in front, Vinny Tigner with a very well-known throwback now. This is a throwback to Tony Stewart and the Busch series, the nationwide series it was at that time, as he got it done in the 2010 season opener at Daytona. Tony Stewart, his only time racing for Rick Hendrick, and he won on that occasion. The beautiful number 80 machine it was on that day in Daytona, just before the circuit got repaved. One final race with character, and of course smoke was the man who put on the smoke show and got it done. Rick Hendrick, of course, replaced by GM Racing tonight for the 99, and he's doing very well for his team at the moment. Tigner, one of the men in your championship battle. He's currently 7th seed overall coming into the playoffs, and he only finds himself just about 16 points off of the Final Four. We'll see whether or not he's able to transfer into it as the season goes on. 29 laps in already. This race is flying, and right now the number 009 is flying as well. In 30 laps, he's gained 3 seconds. He gains about a second every 10 laps on the rest of the field. Chris Tripp did good to be put 1 lap down this time by, and without further ado, he goes down to the inside and lets the leader right by. Now, it's going to be Dylan Basin out in front of yet another. Does Chris Tripp choose to retire the truck? He goes down to pit road. That might be the choice. I'm not quite sure. Now Jordan Parker back on the track after a time on pit road that lasted 9 laps worth. Kyle Jackson down a pit road, Chris Tripp as well, and the race of attrition is back on. Dylan Basin now going to find himself closer and closer to making another lap on another driver. Only 2 true retirees in Rick Spencerwall and Blake Witkowski. Max Wiesner, Jordan Parker, Kyle Jackson, and now Chris Tripp are all still on the track. Despite major damage, they'll keep on kicking as Dylan Basin brings us to lap number 31. And Kenny Real right now has gained a second on Nicholas Pressey since we last checked in. Before we checked in, he was about 4 seconds away from the number 94. This time by, he finds himself only 2.5 seconds away, and he has been able to claw in lap after lap. That time by, he ran a 31.631 compared to Nicholas Pressey, who ran a 31.747. So a slow start for Kenny, but he's been able to put himself in a great position to drive quicker and quicker, as Aaron Brown going to lose a bit of time off that lap. The number 8 machine, while gaining slowly but surely on Alec Daffin, now finds himself all back to square one. He's just about 2 seconds flat behind his teammate in map number 48. Aaron Brown has not had the best stretch of races as of recent, leading in to your playoff contention. Of course, we saw that heartbreaker at Watkins Glen where his race was ended before it even began, but since then, he's not been able to get into that top 5, top 10 range consistently. Tonight, though, with a podium, it could be the game changer for Shaw Racing as he goes down the back all over again. That number 8 machine is having his best run of the season so far and looking to capitalize on a shorter field and a bit of a trickier track to show that his skill is where it needs to be and to come home with his first podium of the playoffs in the first race of its contention. It's Alec Daffin and Aaron Brown who lead your championship contenders right now. Dylan Basin, who's chasing a checkered flag, finds himself out in front by now 4 seconds, and it's been only 34 laps. He is gaining more and more time, and he will be surely the man to lead them into pit road the way things are going. That number 009 out in front by a long shot with nobody in contention besides him. Carter Casey chasing on that number 99, but it's going to be a bit of a reverse order for the number 1. He finds himself going backwards right now. Last time by, it was Vinny Tigner who ran a 31.885. However, Carter Casey ran a 32.529. He's about a second off of your man in that 99, and my oh my, it's getting real dicey for that number 1, losing more and more time as we go through lap after lap. It all stays the same. Carter Casey stays in 6th, but Nicholas Pressey now finds himself with a bit more pressure. 1.5 seconds separate 7th and 8th. Kenny Real gaining big. It's a matter of when. It is not a matter of if at all. The Sam Benson machine right now just about 7 seconds away, and he fades back just a bit further. The number 12 stays in the top 10, but still having a bit of trouble with it as 10 drivers remain on your lead lap. It's a big hit for the number 12, and Michael Deitch almost follows him, and Sam Benson in a bit of trouble with a bit more on that right side. He drifts up the track, and I'm not sure if this is going to be it. He comes down to pit road, and that might be the night for the number 12. Down and in, Sam Benson makes it with Dylan Basin lapping him yet another down a lap. Michael Deitch going to be next up in that number 44, a Hendrick Cars throwback. I believe Kyle Busch in his very early days of running for Nemco. Of course, at that time, it was a much different landscape. Joe Nemechek was a Hendrick driver, and he was partnered with Rick Hendrick to create Nemco Motorsports for the Busch banner, and Kyle Busch, one of the first guys in the Busch series to run for Joe Nemechek there, and he was sponsored by Ditech.com way back then. Michael Deitch, very similar work, quite honestly, and right now, he's putting it to good use, that number 44 inside the top 10, but Matthew Weeks down to pit road for your first strategic pit stop of the night. That number 11 makes it in. He's going to be there with the number 1 of Carter Casey. Now Kenny Rue going to be able to go up into 5th, and 2 of your 10 on the lead lap come to pit road, and now the race is going to begin to shift all over again. Dylan Basin has a 5-second advantage over the rest of your field, and he comes in this time by the number 32 down to pit road. Alec Daffin coming in with him. Yes, he is. Aaron Brown, what's his choice? To stay out, and we'll find out if he leads a lap. This time by Aaron Brown comes out of the stripe. The number 8 going to be able to make it in, and it looks like he will not be the leader at the line. Not by much. Aaron Brown, as a matter of fact, upon recalculation, leads the lap over Dylan Basin. Bason's in. So is Daffin. So is Tigner. So is Kenny Real. And now all but 3 drivers left racing are on the pit road. Right now, it's Aaron Brown leading Sam Benson there on the circuit, but on your lead lap, it is Aaron Brown, and now it looks like it's just him. Brown comes down and in, and Dylan Basin now going to be back on his way in due time, getting service for 4 tires and fuel. Basin going to be on the way now, and Alec Daffin looking to pick up the scraps. 39 laps in, the number 48 machine finds himself way back on that number 99, and way back on the 009, Vinny Tigner now finds himself at a pit road. Basin, though, leads by 5 flat seconds over Matt Wiesner that time by. Wiesner gets put down to 17 laps down on the running order. Big time shuffle. Aaron Brown misses his pit stall, and that's going to be very bad news. The number 8 machine fades back just a bit more, and it looks like after all that, he'll need to get a bit extra service. Let's find out why that's the case. Gonna get a bit more on the tire, a bit more on the fuel. Now he's back on his way, and he'll have to try to beat out Matthew Weeks. It's gonna be dicey. Newer tires than Matthew Weeks, but will it be enough? At the line, Matthew Weeks does beat out Aaron Brown, but Brown is not all too far behind. It's a gap of 2 seconds at most, and Aaron's back on the circuit. and tires have become a very big factor in your strategy. Kenny Real now finds himself 6 seconds off of Nicholas Pressey, and all that he gained has been lost all over again. The 17 machine will have to put down hot lap after hot lap to gain some time on the 94. Nicholas Pressey in that 94 machine sticks himself into the top 10 equation once again. Right now, it's only 9 drivers on the lead lap. We're on that lead lap. Well, it goes down to Sam Benson in 9th. It's going to be Benson 9th, Real in 8th, Pressey in 7th, Vinny Tigner is going to be in 6th alongside Aaron Brown in 5th, with Carter Casey in position number 4. Your podium is going to be Matthew Weeks in 3rd, Alec Daffin right now in 2nd, battling with Max Wiesner, and he puts Wiesner in the wall. Lap machine goes into the wall, big time hit, and the 51 comes up the track again. No yellow flags out, and the lap machine makes him split it. Michael Deitch saves it. And that was unbelievable. A big time hit for Max Wiesner, and Michael Deitch almost gets involved. My oh my, that could have been much, much worse. And let's take it back just a bit further. Max Wiesner way off the pace at this moment, and at this time that number 51 was out in front, but look at how quick Alec Daffin closes in to make this incident occur, not in turns 3 and 4 next time by, but in turns 1 and 2. And Max stays up high, then cuts down low on Daffin. Daffin hits him, disposes of him, and now 13 laps down, make it 18 laps down. Wiesner hits the wall again. Michael Deitch comes into play, and he slides it, and he gets so lucky. My oh my, I can't believe it. That number 51 able to get out scot-free on the rear end, but that could have been a disaster in multiple facets. The number 44 gets lucky, and now it's going to be Max Wiesner still racing with Michael Deitch down 2 laps, still going as well. Let's send it back live on FTN. It's Max Wiesner down on pit road, but it is Dylan Basin ahead of Alec Daffin by 7 seconds already. 45 laps in, that number 009 has put on a clinic so far, and he has been nowhere but the lead all night long. It's Alec Daffin 7 seconds down, but not out, and he knows there's still a shot at something as the race goes on. It's far from over. The way things are going, though, Alec Daffin will have to put on the jets to chase down Basin. Matthew Weeks going to be in position number 3 right now. It's Carter Casey in 4th, Aaron Brown in 5th, and right now, Vinny Tigner on that back bumper and gaining big. They've been about dead even for a little while, but now Vinny Tigner with that draft should be able to make things happen and get closer and closer to a scoring position for yet another spot. We'll find out if he does this time by or the next, as the 99 stays in tow with Aaron Brown. Kenny Real has gained big on Nicholas Pressey. That time by gets by the 96 of Kyle Jackson, and while Nicholas Pressey ran a 30.286, it was Kenny Real who ran a 30.16, so he is gaining 10th after 10th. He's clearly quicker, but will he be quick enough? That remains to be seen. The average stint seems to be about 30-35 laps here in Darlington, so these are very long runs. You just have to be strapped up for the long haul in order to work it all out. Right now, Dylan Basin strapped up for that long haul as the closest battle on the racing circuit remains all the same. Aaron Brown, as a matter of fact, slightly extends his lead on Vinny Tigner. Last time by, they ran dead even laps, identical at a 30.102 apiece. So these guys are about as quick as one another. It's all about breaking through and becoming faster, as Aaron Brown now goes down the inside line, and it looks like that's it. I'm not quite sure what happened to Aaron Brown there. The number 8 machine goes down unexpectedly to the infield of the circuit. Let's find out what happened once again and get an instant replay on the matter. Aaron Brown tapped the wall and then disconnected, so maybe that's cause for it, but I'm not quite sure. The number 8 gets in the wall just once and then leaves. We've seen a few guys do it already. Steve Blake Witkowski for one, and as the 8 machine hits it, he goes down to the inside line, and that would be it. Not quite sure what that's about, but Aaron Brown's night is done and done just like that. Let's head back to leaders battle. It's going to be Dylan Basin in first, and 32 machine on your screen. The 009 on telemetry makes it to lap number 50, and he has been uninterrupted all night long. Aaron Brown now 2 laps down. It's only 7 drivers on the lead lap, and Kenny Real, one of which, as a matter of fact, he's the last of which right now in that number 17. Kenny holds on, but can he hold on much longer? We'll find out. Off the backstretch this time through, it's going to be Kenny Real still out in front. He's 28 seconds behind your leader overall, and Dylan Basin now hounding that 17 as they come through once again. And only 5 laps away from your halfway break in this event. Dylan Bason's had the pressure on these guys non-stop as he leads the way. He now has another to take a pass from Kenny Real, getting closer and closer, being put a lap down all over again inside the cockpit. Very little movement. Outside of it, you can see the hood camera shows that momentum the 009 can build off a corner, and how he goes into it is unlike any other driver. Kenny Real goes a little higher that time through. Basin uses the inner seam, then goes up high and puts the momentum down just like that. However, as a matter of fact, Kenny Real right now running about a 10th off the pace of your leader. Very few drivers are even on that level right now, so the 009 knows that Kenny's got a bit of pace and has that racecraft, so it's going to be a bit more of a challenge to pass him. Kenny Real will not back down. 52 laps in. Basin holds on strong, leading the way by now 7.5 seconds. As your leading man continues to charge, it's Alec Daffin, who finds himself still in second, battling with the lap machine of Sam Benson. And for Alec Daffin, even though he is not up in front of the race overall, this is still a race to dream of for the man in that number 48, second overall, first of those in the playoffs, and he'll gain big time when it comes to points at the end of night. Good job for the 48, and he has to keep it rolling. We're still just about halfway out from the checkered flag. This race has gone through in a blink of an eye, but that doesn't mean you can shut your eyes and take a nap. You've got to keep on it if you're Alec Daffin, knowing that guys like Matthew Weeks would be coming at you, hounding him. He is not, but Weeks does have pace to just about dead even. One slip up, and we could see a much different complexion to the top 3. And as it stands, Nicholas Pressey fading slowly but surely into Kenny Real's grasp. It's a 4.5 second gap between Pressey and Real, and while Kenny has been put 1 lap down now, he finds himself closer and closer to seeing his adversary being put 1 down as well. Dylan Basin comes off the backstretch, looking to put another man down a lap. The Boeing backstretch, it's been pretty quick. We'll try to monitor the speed trap as he goes by the word mark. Dylan Basin gets up to 140 off corner exit off the front stretch with the guy called Restart Zone. He's at 160, and this is a man who can get up to about 170 for the longer segment. The back straightaway is where it matters. Taking flight, that is the speed he's at. 170, it's the end goal. He goes through that corner at 160, and he's going to clearly make 170 just like that. Dylan Basin, the fastest man on the track. It's 174, then lets off and goes at it all over again. Basin leads by 8 seconds over to Alec Daffin, and then Matthew Weeks in third, who finds himself 13 seconds off of your race leader. It's been a clinic so far, and if he can get by Nicholas Pressey, there will only be 5 drivers on the lead lap, and it will come down to Dylan Basin, Alec Daffin, Matthew Weeks, Carter Casey, and Vinny Tigner. And Tigner and Casey are both in jeopardy of being lapped in due time. That's how fast Dylan Basin is. Even Alec Daffin could be put down a lap or 2 if this race went any longer. That is incredible pace from that number 009 as they come down the back all over again. It's Dylan Basin leading the way, 58 laps in. Make it 58 indeed, and now we've only got 53 remaining. The cross flags have waved already, and now the 009 is right on the back bumper of the number 94. Pressey sees the 009 go right down low. It's going to be side by side into 3 and 4, and the leader gets it just like that. Pressey stays right within touching distance, not going to press for it. Now he's going to be behind, and that leaves us with 5 drivers on your leading lap. An unbelievable race of attrition so far for the drivers up in front. It comes down to very few drivers. Of course, Dylan Basin leading, and Alec Daffin now 7.7 seconds off. He is a bit quicker, but will he be quick enough to gain enough time? He would need a restart at this rate. If anything is going to come of it, time and time again, they go through just like that. And you can see it's a big dodge for the 51, and Max Wiesner not able to do anything about it. And Wiesner passed by Alec Daffin all over again. That could have been much, much worse. We've seen these two go at it already. Wiesner came down to Daffin, and then they went wrecking. How about that? It's going to be Matthew Weeks there in position number 3, Carter Casey in 4th, Vinny Tigner in 5th, and then Nicholas Pressey in 6th. And right now, Vinny Tigner is about 20 seconds off of your leader. Michael Deitch is a lap machine. Carter Casey about 4th position, but 17 seconds off your leading man as well. Dylan Basin is on a warpath, and with 51 laps to go, he might just be able to lap the entirety of the field, with the exception of maybe Alec Daffin and maybe Matthew Weeks. That is how quick the man in that number 009 is. Dylan Basin, he's no championship contender, but I tell you what, if we got one race out of him like this before the playoffs began, he'd be up there with the best of them, perhaps as the season champion. The 009 and Dylan Basin comes down once again. 50 laps to go, make it less than that, and Basin leads him in, now ahead of Alec Daffin by over 8 seconds, with Matthew Weeks coming through in that numbered 11 machine. The Darlington, South Carolina word mark, you know where they're at, and right now, that number 11 knows where he's at as a driver, and right now, out in 3rd. Great spot to be in. Of course, the top 2 running away. Keeping it on the lead lap is as crucial as it can get. Right now, we've got many more drivers who are not on the lead lap compared to those that are. Vinny Tigner, slowly but surely, will be on watch to be put a lap down. He is losing time, but not losing it as much as he was before. When Dylan has those new tires, he's as fast as anyone could be here at Darlington. But right now, with the older set, Basin does not have to push as hard, and he won't have to worry about putting another driver a lap down. It surely isn't the top thing on his mind right now. Top priority at the moment is simply just to keep putting down good laps. You want to win by any margin. It doesn't matter if it's a win by 15 laps or 15 thousandths of a second. They all count the same at the end of the day. So take your checkered flags when you can get them, and take them no matter how you get them. And that's the end goal for the 009 and Dylan Basin with 47 laps to go. Still out in front, leading the show 64 laps through. And it's been a great run for Alec Daffin as well in that number 48 machine, bringing back the Fireball Talks NASCAR paint scheme of old earlier in the season, and great to see him out with it. If you're enjoying the action live on FTN, be sure to leave a subscription and, of course, like the stream. We'd love to have you aboard. It is free, and hopefully it's fun for you to be along if you can, as we hammer down to the final segment of the track and this race. Hammer it down, make that subscribe button, say you're subscribed, and we'd love to have you for our future broadcasts on FTN, many coming up in due time. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at your FTN schedule for the week. We've got many streams planned in the future. We are not going to be live tomorrow. I'll be with Maconi Entertainment on Sunday, but then we got the Ignite Series season finale tomorrow. It won't be, it's going to be Monday night at 8:50. The Octane Series is going to be at the same time on Tuesday, and then the season finale for the Texacon Truck Series at 9:30 Eastern. The Highline Racing League Coca-Cola 300 will be at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, and Thursday night we bring you back with the Highline Racing League Premier Series, and that will be at 9:30 with the Thank the Heroes 300 brought to you by Fisher Studios. Well, that's Iora's special event for the summer, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, and then the doubleheader on Saturday nights all over again. And it has been great this season so far. I tell you what, we've got many things planned for the summer, and it will be, I think, 5 straight nights of me on FTN, make it almost 6 with the Saturdays going. So we're going to have quite a lot of content coming your way very soon on FTN, and I'm going to be a great part of it. River Page, of course, presenting the Texacon Truck Series and the Full Send Super Speedway Series, will be there as well, hanging along with you. It will be a great week, and right now we're kicking it off quite well. This race has been one to remember for Dylan Basin. Leads the field by a minimum of 10 seconds over your man in second, Alec Daffin, 10 seconds back, and right now, Vinny Tigner is 22 seconds off of your leader, and now finds himself in jeopardy of being put 1 lap down as he gains more and more time on Carter Casey. And this time by at the line, Carter Casey holds on for a 31.899. However, Vinny Tigner ran a 31.559. So that Tigner machine, I tell you what, gaining more and more time, finds himself oh so close to position number 4 and might be able to avoid being put a lap down just a bit longer. Right now, it seems that number 22 machine, 22 seconds back, is slowly but surely finding the ropes to keep up with the 99. But Tigner is simply that much quicker. And as we ride on board with Vinny, you can see gaining more off the exit, and this could be the moment. Vinny stays right there with Carter, and as they go to 1 and 2, it could be a fake out here. Carter sends it a bit deeper. Tigner stays down low and then keeps it calm. Puts down the power through the middle and lets the exit do the talking. Off the exit of the backstretch this time by, we'll see him go through the turns 3 and 4. Then Carter Casey goes down. He's going to be able to let that 99 go right through, and 69 laps in. A nice overtake, but that's because now we have our second pit stop for strategy for the number 1 machine, and that might be the penultimate, as we do have one more still standing. It will be about a 10-15 lap dash for these guys on their strategies after this pit stop. How about this? Dylan Basin laps Carter Casey that time through. Now Vinny Tigner up next to go 1 lap down. He's 24 seconds off as it stands. And it is now Carter Casey and Kenny Reel down on pit road with one another. Both of them there in tow. So 2 drivers coming in just like that. And now we've only got 4 drivers on your lead lap, 3 of which, make it 4 of which, have not gone down pit road. And as it stands, pit road going to become very packed very soon. Max Wiesner back on the way. However, he comes down pit road once again. He's 40 laps down as is. Dylan Basin, 72 laps in. Almost gets to the Sam Benson there. And that could have been disastrous. The Dylan Basin machine able to avoid it. But that could have been much, much worse. My oh my for Dylan Basin. And we're going to get an instant replay on the matter live on FTN. Take a look as we go to the replay on board with Basin as he almost gets into the man in that 009. Sam Benson gets them real close, maybe too close for comfort. And as they go through 1 and 2, Benson has some damage already, tries to put the power down just a bit more, and the 12 machine finds himself up in the wall just like that. And no, Dylan Basin did make contact. So damage for your leader after an altercation with a lap machine, and Dylan Basin, while still quicker, fading slowly but surely with that damage in mind. That's front end damage. That might be something that affects the motor, and if you have that motor out of sorts, you'll find yourself out of contention in no time. However, Dylan keeps it going, and this is the second race this season we've seen Dylan get damaged while running through the field. At Iowa, he ran from last in the field to 3rd overall on the night, and he did so with a damaged front end. He got himself wrecked up in an incident early, but now Sam Benson off the track, making a total of now 4 drivers on lead lap, and it could be only a max of about 5 now, as Carter Casey came down pit road, now 2 laps down, 36 laps remain, and Dylan Basin trying to make it a one-stopper from here on out, and it looks like he's been able to do so quite solid. The 32 on your screen leads it by 10.2 seconds over Alec Daffin, and Matthew Weeks is currently in position number 3. And another one comes down to pit road this time by, and that will be Vinny Tigner of the number 99 machine. Tigner makes it in. Dylan Basin goes by your screen, but that number 99 is indeed down on pit road. Take a look at this. Tigner slowly but surely making it in from the 4th spot on the field. Comes in after a 35-lap stint, and with 35 laps to go, it will officially be a one-stop race for the man in that 99 from here on out. Able to play the cards right and will be able to make a safe stop and then go from there. It's been a solid race all night long for the man in that 99, who finds himself inside the top 5 despite being 1 lap down on pace. Dylan Basin takes it in one more time. The average pit stop all night long has been around the 48-second range. The fastest on the night so far that's been recorded is a 47.5 second pit stop by, you guessed it, Dylan Basin. And Dylan has been flawless all night long. This might single-handedly be the most dominating performance we've seen all season long, as he finds himself out in front of everyone on the field by at least 2 laps besides your top 3. Basin, pit road. This time by the 32 machine comes in. It's Alec Daffin in the 48 next up on the agenda. Does he make it in? That he does. No further can he go. Matthew Weeks, he will be the next man to test the theory. What's the call for the number 11? The call is down to pit road. And just like that, your final men on the track all coming at once. And this changes everything. This will be the money stop for every driver. Dylan Basin coming in. He's got a 3.1 second advantage over Alec Daffin as they all come into pit road, and it will be all equal from there. Basin in this time through. He's got about 4, 5, 6, and more than that when it comes down to his pit stall. And Dylan Basin is done. Or is he? He's back. Dylan Basin gave us a bit of a scare there as he gets right off the circuit, and just like that, Basin back on the move, disconnected, and returns. His entire truck was off the track and now finds himself ahead of Alec Daffin all over again. He'll be about 8, 9, 10 seconds ahead as Vinny Tigner has come down to pit road, now back on the lead lap. We've got 5 drivers on the lead lap, and as we thought your leader was gone, he's back in action, and the 009 gives us a bit of a scare there, but he will finish off his masterclass in style. Basin back on the way. It's Alec Daffin in second and Carter Casey in third. Casey right now on his own world as Matthew Weeks is now in fourth, and it's Vinny Tigner in fifth. Now with these guys on a new set of tire, it could be all equalized for a moment, but that number 009 is the best at adapting through and through. Not one to mess with. That number 009 is. If Basin and his Lowe's machine can get out in front of anyone, well, they'll be sure to be put 1 lap down while he's at it. All but 5 drivers on the lead lap right now. It leaves us with Tigner, Weeks, Casey, Daffin, and Basin, and these 5 have been able to run away from the field just like that. Consistency has been their key, and their performance has been sublime, but it is still far from over. Dylan Basin leads the way. It's Vinny Tigner in that 99 holding on in fifth. But now, Basin is getting closer and closer to making that pass for position and making himself known one more time for one more spot. He does not have to battle for track position when it comes to numbers. He just wants to keep putting guys out of position, out of order, and if he can get another 1 lap down, he'll do so. Kenny Real now goes 4 laps down just like that, and Kenny moved out of the way by that number 009. Dylan Basin now finds himself in face of no trouble. He's 23 seconds up on Vinny Tigner, 17 seconds up, 19 seconds up on Matthew Weeks, and Carter Casey. He's up there by 18 seconds, running very good so far. That number 009 is. Even Alec Daffin is now 12 seconds away from your leading man with 29 laps to go. All green and 82 laps of action so far. This race has been one short one, and it could get a bit longer if we do see a yellow flag late. It is unexpected, but it could happen. Never say never. It ain't over till it's over, as Dylan Basin leads us down to 28 laps to go. Once again, the storyline of the night has been how many drivers can Basin put 1 lap down. And even though he's put many drivers in the championship battle a lap down, it looks like Vinny Tigner continues to fight the good fight. The number 99 machine for GM Racing stays out there in fifth. He holds on strong in that top 5, making it through and through every lap. Gets by Max Wiesner that time by, and Wiesner is the driver who is right now lowest in the order of those still racing. Max finds himself 42 laps down, but he's still going right now. Dedication to the craft. That number 51 holds on nice and easy and keeps it going quite strong. Dylan Basin, however, gonna be able to lap him this time by, and Basin saw that Alec Daffin had an altercation with his driver before. Will he give the leader an easy chance, or will there be yet another battle? We'll find out. And right now, Dylan Basin comes by the line once again, 26 laps to go. It's been an age-old story for the 009. He has been up in front every time we've seen him this season. He gets by the 51 with ease and now gets to chase down Vinny Tigner uninterrupted. And that is just the absolute magnitude of the performance we've seen all night long. No driver quite like Dylan Basin so far. He has been up there and out of there. He's 12 seconds up on a championship contender, and while Alec Daffin was quicker that time by, he still has many seconds to claw down on. He'd have to be about a second a lap faster for a chance to get it done with 25 laps remaining. That time by, though, Dylan Basin ran his slowest lap of the night. He's beginning to balloon, it might seem. It could be permanent, it could be temporary, as he just got by a lap machine as well. So Alec Daffin now next up to deal with the 51. We could see shades of the incident before, or shades of the major dodge down that Alec made as a response to that number 51 being on the track in a very similar room to the racing line. It could go each way, it could go all of the above. The 48 does not want to be involved in an incident this late. You can't afford to lose any position with so little time on the race. So far, we've seen 87 go on their green. You don't want to be caught out in that first caution. That changes the complexion of the event. Dylan Basin knows he does not want to see a yellow. That is for certain. Despite his damage, he still is the quickest man on the circuit. That time by, he goes from 24 to 23 laps to go, and Basin makes it so with a 30.099 on the track. And with 23 laps to go right now, we'll take it to 22 next time by, and you know what that means. The best cameras on iRacing, TrackCams22.com. If you enjoyed the iRacing experience we present race after race, night after night, be sure to check out their website at TrackCams22.com or their Facebook page in the link in the description below. TrackCams for Gormans welcome you to our 22 lap to go Crank It Up, presented by TrackCams22, the best cameras on the iRacing market. We'll be right back after this brief, uninterrupted presentation. And now, with only a total of 18 laps to go, Dylan Basin is looking to come home with the Throwback 150 victory, ripping the high side lap after lap. No driver in contention to compete for the win right now. Vinny Tigner, 26 seconds off your leader and only 2 seconds away from being put a lap down as it stands on pace on a green flag run. Only 4 drivers are on the lead lap. Alec Daffin is in second, Matthew Weeks is in third, and now Vinny Tigner tries to defend this run as he holds on as the final man inside the lead lap. The dominance of Dylan Basin cannot be understated tonight. He finds himself now with an opportunity to make sure the podium comes home in the lead lap, and it might mean we'll only interview drivers on the lead lap on your podium ceremony. How about this under an oval track, unlike what we'd expect anywhere else? Darlington has been no competition, and the number 009, your pole sitter, your fastest man in second practice, is now looking to go for the biggest of them all, making every driver go one lap down. It's going to be a bit hard for Alec Daffin, but the rest of these drivers he might be able to get to. It looks like Vinny Tigner is a possibility as he now finds himself right behind Michael Deitch, getting slowed down big through turns 3 and 4. Nothing he can do that time by. Now that 99 is in major trouble. Dylan Basin gets more time on him, and now he's about 28 seconds off your leader. Down the backstretch this time by, Vinny Tigner tries to hold on, and now he's in ahead of Deitch, but Dylan Basin is coming up fast. This could be the 32 machine's chance to get another man one lap down and make it so only your podium drivers finish on the lead lap. A marvelous race for the man in map number 009, regardless of who goes one down next, and nothing can take away this performance as we come to 100 laps in about 5 laps time. It's one of the most dominating races we've seen in this league. And as it stands, Dylan Basin knows there's very little on the line for him. He just has to keep putting down laps much ahead of every other driver. And with 14 laps to go, he finds himself a steady 12 seconds ahead of Alec Daffin. That's a great place to be in if you're a driver right now. That number 009 knows there's nothing to worry about. He just has to keep on going without any problem in mind. 14 laps to go. Alec Daffin is out in his own world right now. Kenny Reel came down to pit road. He's now 6 laps down, and the number 17 machine in the 7th spot on timing and scoring is still going strong. Vinny Tigner now is about 28 flat seconds off of your leader, and Dylan Basin's in frame now with only 13 to go. Will we see yet another pass by the 009, or is this the end of the rampage? It looks like it could go either way. My oh my, it's getting dicey here in Darlington as they come down to the line once again. The lady in black has held no prisoners. The lady in black has let the black, gray, and white number 32 shine. No other driver has been able to define dominance like he has so far this season. Dylan Basin, with a dozen to do it, can now put yet another driver one lap down if he just makes up just about one more second. Very little for him to do, very little for him to say. He's just got to keep it tight-lipped and keep it going as they come to the line all over again. The virtual stands are packed in Darlington, and the number 009 for Lowe's knows there's one more job to do, is to chase down Vinny Tigner and make it that much more of a standout performance. It has been open and shut, and it got shut by the end of the first lap. Now it seems like there's nothing more that can be done besides taking the win. It's Dylan Basin ahead by 12 seconds over Alec Daffin, 22 seconds over Matthew Weeks, and now 28 seconds over the aforementioned Vinny Tigner. Off the rear end of the Tigner machine, that number 009 gains him in more and more, and while not a championship contender, he has been the biggest intimidator of this race. No other driver has had quite the performance. Basin the wall that time by. It does not stop him at all as they come through 3 and 4. Basin high now. It might be the end of the run. Now, Vinny Tigner with a shot to keep the momentum in while the 009 shuts it out. And coming through time after time, the same line ran by oh so many. And the Dylan Basin machine just keeps it in tow. Alec Daffin now 11.8 seconds off, gains a bit that time by, but 0.2 of a second is not going to be enough. He'll have to gain a minimum of 1.5 seconds every lap. With 9 laps to go, it will be 8 very soon. Basin on his own other level has himself in a totally different time compared to any other driver. If Alec Daffin goes through 2 and 3, it's going to be Dylan Basin through 3 and 4 on to another lap. That's how far ahead Dylan is. He's on another level. Right now, Vinny Tigner still has 9 laps to go. Basin has 8, and they're in the same frame together, and they're both on the lead lap. Isn't that something special? I'm pretty sure this is a run you won't find anywhere else. Dylan, one of the top 70 NASCAR drivers in the Road to Pro Round 1 Tour, and he finds himself closer and closer to another dominating margin. He has been a winner all around on the iRacing scene, but we have not seen it this season so far in this league. Tonight, he proves us all wrong as he finds himself 28 seconds ahead of the man in fourth at Darlington, no less, where lap times are just about 30 seconds at the very most. That time by Dylan Basin ran a 31.382. His fastest overall is a 29.514, so he might be off his pace, but he is still that much quicker than anyone else. Alec Daffin ran a 31.447 to the line. Last time by, it's not going to be enough no matter what. A yellow flag will be all that save him. As right now, Vinny Tigner finds himself slightly gaining on Dylan Basin. That time by, he gained 2/100ths of a second, and it might be enough to keep him at bay. They're both gaining on Nicholas Pressey right now. Pressey that time by half a second slower each and every lap, and it could be a distance enough for both drivers to catch him past the 94. As they come down the line once again, make it 5 laps to go for Dylan Basin, the 009 machine. It's Vinny Tigner right now, holding on in fourth. The battle, it is not for a position, it is not for the lead, it's simply for bragging rights as a driver. It's a 28.75-second lead Dylan Basin has on the man in that 99, and it might be a playoff driver in Vinny Tigner in front of Basin on your screen, but Dylan has been ahead of everyone, head and shoulders, all night long. Make it 4 laps to go for Dylan Basin this time by, and he finds himself now in front of the field by at least 11.5 seconds. Alec Daffin gains just a bit slightly, but won't be enough as he loses it all in the back and forth lap traffic battle. They're going up a 10th and down a 10th, and Daffin simply can't keep up as Dylan now has the draft directly from Vinny Tigner with 4 laps to go. There's still a chance that are now only about a car length separating each other, a truck length no less, as they gain in on both Nicholas Pressey and Kyle Jackson. At the line again, it will be a pass-through for Dylan Basin. Basin gets the spot, and now there's only 3 drivers on the lead lap. Vinny Tigner lets him by. The battle, it was hard fought, but now the 99 is 1 lap down. There are only 3 men on the lead lap under a long green flag run. Dylan Basin, Alec Daffin, and Matthew Weeks. Weeks is 4 seconds ahead of being put down a lap. He's still going to be able to make it home on the lead lap. Quite the contrary for almost every other driver. 2 laps to go as Basin takes it side by side with Nicholas Pressey. He gets through quite easily, and that 94 machine now finds himself just behind your leading man. It's throwback on throwback on throwback. 1, 2, 3 in your frame. Kenny Real holds on, but he's not battling for any position right now. The guys on your screen in this order in position, they go as follows: 1st, 6th, 4th, and 7th. Everything is out of order. It's jumbled big, it's jumbled more. 3 laps to go. We have an overtime. And hundreds of feet away from the checkered flag, the white flag no less, Michael Deitch brings out an overtime yellow. Stay in your seats. It's not over. And Michael Deitch appears to have an incident with less than 2 laps remaining on the night. And we're taking it back 40 seconds with the Deitch machine. He ends up in the wall, it appears, on our timing and scoring charts. And the 44 kept it going. He gets in the wall, and then the same hit as Jordan Parker. But with 3 laps to go now, it was 2 laps to go. That brings out a yellow. And I can't believe it. Dylan Basin was oh so close to that start-finish line. And now, after 110 green flag laps, we are going to overtime in Darlington. Unbelievable. And now, everyone down on pit road. It's Basin coming in with Alec Daffin, Matthew Weeks as well. Vinny Tigner going to be in tow, and I believe this will give Tigner the lucky dog. I can't believe what we're seeing after 110 laps. We are now under yellow. And just like that, things have changed. Michael Deitch brings out the first and perhaps only yellow of the night. 110 green flag laps lead to this, and it's all changed just like that. We now have an overtime finish on our hands. Can Dylan Basin finish the job, or will Alec Daffin be the man who comes out with the surprise victory? It now falls into any driver's hands, and as we thought it was an open and shut case, it looks like it's wide open all over again. Dylan Basin leads from Alec Daffin, and this race is not over. And as the leaders begin to get in line once again, we've still got a little bit of time here under yellow, so we are not going to bore you at all. We'll make sure the drivers are still on your screen. However, we'll take it down to a Fireball Talks nonstop if this is not the signal for the 1 to go mark. I don't believe it will be, but in the case they shorten the yellow, it could be. And as they come through, this time by Nicholas Pressey behind the pace car, and it will not be 1 lap to green. So with that being said, and very little being done during this yellow flag, we're going to take you to our Fireball Talks nonstop segment of the night. Stay with us here as we've still got quite a lot of action ahead. A green, white checker to decide the race finish and the race winner at the end of the day. What a race it's been. It's not over. Stick with us as we return very shortly after a brief Fireball Talks nonstop break. We'll be right back. Thank y'all for your support as we return in a lap or so. You won't miss a thing under green, live on FTN.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And just like that, we're ready to rumble all over again. 3 laps remain, and it's going to be a 2-lap shootout after everything we've seen. Now, 4 drivers remain on your lead lap who are in fact part of this battle. Down the Boeing backstretch, 2 laps to go live on FTN, and it all comes down to this. It's been an unbelievable race so far, but it seems like it's going to become that much more believable. A late race, green, white checkered to finish this one off, and we have not seen the likes of this all night long. I tell you what, this is what y'all been waiting for, the checkered flag. It's going to be there soon, but we're going to finish this one off in style. Let's get right to it. It's going to be here and now. Make it a green, white checkered. It's going to be green out one more time. A 2-lap dash to the checkered flag. We're back underway, and it's going to be the driver of the number 009 in Dylan Basin out in front. Basin gets that lead immediately thereafter. Alec Davin stays in second, and it looks like there's not much more that he can do at the moment. They come through and they come out in one order. The single file, the top 4 stay in procession. Dylan Basin leads, but Alec Davin finds himself 0.2 of a second away from the checkered flag for the first time all night long. As they come down the line, this time through, Dylan Basin makes it known it's 1 lap to go in the Throwback 150, and it all comes down to the final dash. 1 lap left, and now Basin, after having a lead of over 1 second over to make it over 12 seconds, has only 1 more set of turns to go through. Alec Davin, desperate for his first win, has 1 last chance after the Boeing backstretch. Does he send it deep? He does, but he does not send it deep enough. Domination all lap long leads to a victory worth celebrating. Dylan Basin, in a dominating drive, wins the Throwback 150 and leaves only 4 drivers on the lead lap. My oh my, Dylan Basin, what a race. And simply no other driver on his level all night long. Dylan Basin comes home the winner of the Throwback 150. What a way to win it. That was phenomenal. Nobody doing it like Basin tonight. And he finds himself a winner at the end of the day. Basin getting knocked into time and time again, and we'll get your race results here and now as the 009 comes to burn down the house. What a victory and what a finish. A green-white checkered after all the long haul we had. Wow, I can't believe this one. It came down to the wire, and it was quite the memorable one. So without further ado, got to give it up to the drivers for keeping it clean all night long. Only one issue at the very end of the show. And now, Dylan Basin gets ready to roll on to the next race, but not without a dominating victory. Your pole sitter converts it to a incredible win ahead of the field all throughout. Basin wins from Alec Daffin in second and Vinny Tigner in third, with Matthew Weeks position number 4, Carter Casey in fifth, and Nicholas Pressey in sixth, as Kenny Real comes home as well in position number 7, 5 laps down. Michael Day comes home in eighth, it's Kyle Jackson ninth, and then Sam Benson 10th, as then Max Wiesner comes home in position number 11. Aaron Brown in 12th and Chris Tripp in 13th, with Jordan Parker 14th, Rick Spencer Walton 15th, Blake Witkowski in 16th, and Terry Conyer debuting, finishing out the field at 17th and last. But it's going to be no use for any of the driver as Dylan Basin comes down to burn down the house, and Basin celebrating a well-deserved dominating victory. And down to the start-finish line, Dylan Basin gonna park it, but he left his mark on this event. The Throwback 150, and only one driver had control all night long. I can't believe this one. Dylan Basin, the field in shambles, but you kept going no matter what. The winner of the Throwback 150 in dominating fashion. How was it all night long in Darlington?
Man, it was fun. It drove really good until I got damaged from that lap car in the wall, and then I had a plow box for the rest of the race. But I really enjoyed it. I love this track. But maybe not much for the trucks because it's just on throttle time. But it's just a driver's track, man, and it shows.
Able to make it happen. A driver's track indeed, and it seems like you were the driver to hold this one off all night long. What was your key to success here, as nobody seemed to have that ticket?
I just ran my line, man. And I've run here a lot before and have a lot of experience with it. Ran the same line, made sure my right front was safe that early in the run, and then just started pushing along.
And it seemed that worked quite well. Now, the tire strategy, we did see it. Some green flag strategy came down to what we saw on pit road. It seems like you were even the fastest man there, so you seem to be dialed out. How big was the tire deficit as the run went on?
Oh, it was major. It was like 2.5, 3 seconds. 1 and 2 doesn't really seem like as much of a difference, but you have to back it up a lot. 3 and 4, man, you slow down to like 120 miles per hour there when you're doing 174 in the corner. So it's a big drop off, and that's what makes it so fun.
And it looks like a fun night for the man in the 009, Dylan Basin. Very little else to mention. You kept yourself out in front with that much of a fight all night long. Now, next up on the schedule, it's going to be Kansas in 2 weeks' time. Do we expect to see you back there?
We'll see. We'll make it a surprise.
That we will hope to look out for. Of course, Dylan Basin coming back in this part-time tour has seen a lot of speed, but his first win so far as the 009 gets it done in the Lady in Black. Any final thoughts to finish this one out?
I'd just like to thank you for broadcasting, and thanks everyone else to hosting this league. This is a nice competitive and gives you a lot of practice.
And there we have it. All the competition comes down to Dylan Basin leading the way and winning here in Darlington. Thank you for your time.
And they'll take you.
And there we have it. Basin going to be on the way, and the only other driver with a shot all night long seemed to be that number 48, Alec Daffin. Oh, so close at the end, and what it could have been if Daffin broke through. Nonetheless, big-time championship points, and you find yourself runner-up at a night's work, concluding here in Darlington. How do you feel after this one?
That's good. We were pretty boring race, I guess. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a 2 or 3 stop going in, but turned out to be a pretty comfortable 2 stop there. So, but field one was still pretty close. Everybody pit around the same time. Pit strategy was pretty straightforward, and we were easily second place car. I had nothing for Dylan and Matthew and Vinny, and Cardinal. Them had nothing for me. So, pretty straightforward race, and then of course we had the caution right at the end there, kind of spiced things up. But, I mean, that was I still want to deal it for Dylan because he had a little more damage than I did. I barely ticked the wall with like 7 to go, but I mean, Dylan was still the faster car, and he deserved to win. So we'll take P2 out of it.
And able to make it happen. A very straightforward race indeed for the number 48 camp. Very little that anyone could do to you or the other leading man in Dylan Basin. So great run overall. What was the key for you to keep it out there? Because it seems like nobody could touch you as well.
Minimize mistakes is the main thing. This track like this, very easy to hit the wall. And with these trucks, they're basically made out of paper. So you just touch the wall and it's going to kill your speed. So that was the main thing. Also, we had the top 4 in points. None of them showed up. So at least as far as everybody in this race was concerned, I was the points leader. Not actually, but so yeah, I mean, we'll gain some points here for sure and should have a legit shot at making the final 4 now. Not really the way I want to do it, but like at first I thought I was going to be missing this race for a while, but I decided to show up here and race, and we got some good points out of it. Fortunately, I thought this would probably be my chance to win tonight with having, I guess, well, I don't want to say a lower quality field, but a lot of the big dogs weren't in here, so wish could have got it done. But I mean, Dylan's an incredible driver. I raced with him for a couple years now, and he's always competitive, so no shame in finishing second to him.
And no shame in this run indeed. Now, next up on the schedule, after a big momentum boost for your championship shot, it is going to be Kansas Speedway in 2 weeks' time. What's going to be the game plan heading into Kansas after tonight?
I mean, that's kind of a drafting track with these trucks. So, I mean, I think track position be important. Obviously, got to keep momentum there. And, I mean, I guess this league went there 2 seasons ago, and we ran pretty well. So, I think the field will kind of spread out if we get long runs again like we did here. I mean, it's going to be tough early on, but I think the field will spread out if we go green. So, I think just minimizing mistakes once again because, like, obviously you have to rip the fence there at least part of the time to be fast. So, I think just minimizing mistakes and mind your P's and Q's, checking all the boxes, not making mistakes, obviously, not getting pit strategy right, saving tires. So if you just do all that, I think we'll be competitive. Hopefully get a good finish, possibly a win.
And looking for yet another good fish, a great one here tonight in Darlington, second on the board after a hard-fought throwback 150. Alec Daffin, any final thoughts to close this one off?
Yeah, thank you for the broadcast. Thanks, Cameron, for putting on the league. Got to thank Shaw Racing Procs, and I decided this is going to be my final season in SCRL and with Shaw Racing. So got 5 more races here. Going to try and make the final 4 and hopefully go for championship to cap it off.
And looking to wrap off a great career here in this league, Alec Daffin starts the playoffs off strong in the 44nd place at the end of night. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, David.
And there we have it. Alec going to be on his way as the final man of your top 3. It wasn't as straightforward for Vinny Tigner. A hard-fought night, and with the caution, you were able to get even one more spot out of it. A podium finish here in Darlington. How do you feel after a hard-fought battle all night long to make your way into the top 3 here in the Throwback 150?
Yeah, it's always good to finish up front. Kind of lucked into this one, but I had nothing obviously for Dylan and Alec and even Matthew at times there, and but you know, kind of lucked into it, so I'll take it.
And able to take it, and this will be a major title battle boost. Yet another one necessary to keep this fight going. Now, 3rd place here, going to be a major boost as we mentioned. What was the key to keeping it up here as many drivers seem to have a bit more of a struggle all night long?
Yeah, I mean, I'm simply not good here, but I just knew if I just kept it off the wall, it would just keep me in the hunt. So that's what I did. I don't think I scraped it at all. So that was my goal, and luckily it just caught that car. I mean, I went a lap down there and got the lucky dog, and it kind of worked out perfect there for at least a podium finish. So yeah, that's all it was for me tonight.
And it seems like all you needed there is what came out of the podium here in Darlington. Next up on the schedule, in 2 weeks' time after our off week, of course, it's going to be Kansas Speedway. What's the game plan heading into there, the Midwest, after a great race here down south?
I feel good about Kansas. Darlington, I was, worried about. I'm just not good here, and then I feel good about Kansas though, and I definitely want to do really good there, because then we go to a road course, and I'm just not a road course guy. But so I need to do really, really good at Kansas, and hope for the best the remaining races of the season.
And hoping for the best. That's the end goal for the man in the number 99 machine, Vinny Tigner. A great run here in Darlington to set off the playoffs on the right foot for the 99. And any final thoughts to wrap this one off?
I just want to thank GM Racing, and I want to shout out to Brian with B3 Designs for making this Tony Stewart throwback for me, and I really appreciate it. It came out looking good.
And there we have it, a good-looking truck with a good position here in Darlington, third place on the night, and a great run for Vinny Tigner to kick off the playoffs of the Throwback 150. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And there we have it, Tigner going to be on the way, comes home in third, as Dylan Basin put on the clinic and gets it done here in Darlington. And that will be it for tonight's Throwback 150. A great race, all race long it was, and the playoffs are underway. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time on a Saturday night. But until then, we'll be packed on FTN. We'll be back live on Monday, and we'll be live every day throughout the weekday swing. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and indeed Friday. So look out for that. It's going to be quite fun live on FTN. Keep an eye out as we will continue to be live. And if you did enjoy tonight, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Your support is always greatly appreciated. From the FTN Live Studios, I've been your host, David Kreutz. Great to have you all aboard, and we hope to see you once again whenever we're live on FTN. This has been the Stock Car Racing League Fisher Studios Truck Series and a presentation of the Throwback 150. We thank you all for your time, and we hope you had a great night. From our studios to your homes, we thank you dearly for your support, and hope to see you again whenever we're live on FTN.